Alright, let me give you some numbers here. $500 gaming headset. Sounds bizarre, right? That's the same amount you'll be paying for a whole Xbox Series X. This is especially jarring in a world of cheap gaming headsets that can often give you quite the premium experience already. But let me throw you another number here. $500 headphones. See, now it doesn't sound as crazy, does it? See, when it comes to audio quality, things get expensive very, very quickly. Even stuff like your Sonys and Bose all start at $400 for their flagship products now. And those are very much for an average consumer market with more mainstream tuning. Even the AirPods Max, which is also tuned for a very much mainstream audience, is at a cost of a whopping $550. Now, Bang & Olufsen certainly isn't a no-name brand. They've been in the audio business for years, and they know what they're doing. When you think about it that way, $500 starts to make a lot more sense for a high-end audio designer product. So then, what exactly are the Beoplay portals? And what on earth makes it worth so much money when it's still just a gaming headset? Well, simply said, these are premium gaming headphones that come with some unique features that you generally expect with a proper gaming headset, making it a crazy dual-purpose machine. The portals are also a very interesting combination of raw audio power and a more gaming-focused tuning that's meant for even the most dedicated of gamers. They have two different modes that allow you to switch between gaming and music. The biggest reason why these got me so excited is that they look nothing like your traditional gaming headsets or gaming headphones. They've got this nice design that's directly borrowed from the H10s, which are a beautiful pair of headphones. I made a review on those headphones as well, so you can go check that out later after this video. What's more is that there is no mic boom arm coming out from the headphones, which makes the other ones look so goofy to take outside. Simply said, no one would think that these are a pair of gaming headphones unless you told them. Just like no one would believe that you're subscribed to the most underrated tech channel on YouTube. Make sure you smash that red subscribe button below. Thanks a lot for your support. It really does help. Alright, so let's talk about something very important real quick. There are two different versions of these headphones. The Xbox variation from last year and the PC and PlayStation version from this year. Don't be fooled. This year's variation is significantly better. Even if you do have an Xbox, I highly suggest that you end up picking up the latest version. We'll talk more about the two variations in the different sections in this video, but for the most part, just make sure you understand that the newer one is significantly better, and that's also the one that I have, so I did not test the Xbox version. The first thing you will generally notice about these headphones is the fantastic build quality. It feels premium throughout the entire thing. You've got a nice metal headband and some lambskin leather ear cups and cowhide at the top, and the bottom of the headband is even made from some bamboo fiber. It's really nice and soft, and it feels premium. In fact, it feels exactly like the H10s, except that there's a tiny bit of squeaking when it comes to the headphones when you pull them apart, but that's absolutely within acceptable ranges. This was clearly designed for prolonged use. You can really tell this with the incredibly light nature of the product despite all the metal that covers most of the headphones. It's not exactly light, but it's at a point where you can certainly forget about it. For the most part, I would say that the weight isn't too much of a problem, but there is a bit of clamping force, so that's something to keep in mind. Similar to the Beoplay HX, which I reviewed earlier, this thing is absolutely stunning. What I love about it is that you can tell that these things can last you for years. The included 3-year warranty is just another wonderful feature that gets you that feeling of a long-term purchase. Now, unlike the H10s though, these headphones come with some very large ear cups that are clearly meant to provide some long-term comfort for your ears. They're very high quality and incredibly soft thanks to the lambskin leather. They will have pretty much no problems at all encompassing your entire ear, and they're very unlikely to ever really touch your ears at all. The extra clamping force also provides a really great seal around your ears, so if you need noise cancellation from passive noise cancellation, this is excellent. Now the best part about these is that the ear cups are actually removable, which is such a nice little touch, especially when you spend this much money. This way, you'll only spend more money for the ear cups instead of having to buy a brand new pair of headphones every single time something goes wrong. At this price point, it's certainly something you can expect, but it's still nice to see that they do so. In the H10 videos, I complained about the ear cups being a little difficult to remove, but I am really happy to say that these headphones are extremely easy to remove and they feel like a far more premium experience, which is great. Okay, now let's talk about the first major difference between the Xbox version and the newer PC version. With the Xbox version, you get nothing else outside of the cables and a pair of headphones. That's it. $500 and you get no carry case to supposedly use these dual-purpose headphones. And how do you plan on using these headphones for other purposes if you can't even carry them around? Now the PC version does come with something, but let's not get too excited here. All they give you is this cloth bag, which, to be fair, is a very high quality bag. However, this thing isn't winning any favors from me. The way I see it is that it's only marginally better than not having anything at all. It offers nearly no protection, and it'll be quite the gamble to just throw in a bag. It's a good start, but I really hope that they give a proper case for these someday. While these do fit in the H10's case, B&O suggests that you don't do this because they aren't a good fit. The H10s actually have a far smaller ear cup and it's already pretty snug. I would actually go with B&O's opinion on this, and not only that, the case is $75. It's more than likely going to ruin the foam inside, so I highly suggest looking for some third-party case manufacturers for this. Okay, let's do a quick feature overview to talk about just why these headphones are worth your time. For the most part, these features will apply to both the Xbox version and the PC version. For example, you can pause and play by just tapping on one of the ear cups. There's also a few other controls in there, but for the most part, it's not very customizable. The Xbox version does miss out on some of the other controls since only one of the ear cups are available for touch controls, so do keep that in mind. I guess the biggest problem with the controls is that it only detects taps, which means that you're missing out on a large number of possible gestures. The taps are also not customizable, which is rather annoying, but again, it's not the biggest problem in the world. You just need to memorize what each of them do, and you're pretty much good to go. And given that there's only a few things that you can do, it's very easy to memorize. These headphones have some very nice touch sliders on the back of the ear cups, which is by far my favorite way to interact with any headphones so far. They're incredibly intuitive and extremely functional. On the right side, you have volume. Simply slide your finger over that area in either direction to change the volume. What I loved about it is how much of a difference you can make with just one swipe. There's also a lot of precision involved if you want it. Simply said, I absolutely love it. Though it will take some practice to get just right, just like any other input method. On the left side comes the party trick for these headphones. You get a slider for active noise canceling and transparency. What's awesome here is that you can actually control exactly how much you want, unlike some of the other headphones where you can only press one button to toggle between them all. Just like the volume slider, it's incredibly easy to use and has some nice audio cues to tell you when you're switching to the different modes. Speaking of noise canceling, these things are actually wonderful. Thanks to the great seal that these provide on your ears, the ANC does a beautiful job of blocking out unwanted noise. Just like I mentioned in the H10's video, don't expect anything close to the Sony's or Bose levels of noise cancellation. These are very good, but they are relying on a seal rather than pure noise cancelling AI. On the flip side of this is transparency, which lets in noise from around you so that you can hear. I found the transparency was very, very good, but it was just a tiny bit too quiet. This is a rather ironic statement to make since the H10s were remarkably good at transparency, and in fact it was a tiny bit too loud. What's annoying is that your own voice is actually what's the most quiet in this whole scenario, and it's just kind of annoying. But this is something that can be easily fixed in a software update if they want to. Now, transparency is what you get when the mic is off. When your microphone is on, you get something called own voice. This is essentially where it turns on the noise cancellation, but only lets in, you guessed it, your own voice. This is very useful, but it can be kind of annoying if you don't expect it. For example, I tend to leave transparency on at all times so I can hear what's going on around me. In fact, I only use ANC when absolutely required. I did not appreciate these things blocking out all the sounds around me whenever it wants to just because the mic turned on. I would prefer this to be a toggle of some kind. But this could be very useful for people who prefer to use noise cancellation all the time. What I found really great is that the noise cancellation doesn't affect the audio at all. On the H10s you get a slightly lesser soundstage with the ANC on, but here it's nothing like that. It's great. What's more is that there's hardly any white noise in any of the modes at all. One of the biggest reasons why I said to avoid the Xbox version is actually battery life. With the Xbox version, you can expect about 12 hours of game time and 24 hours of Bluetooth time. Both of these are taken with ANC in mind, so at least they aren't trying to trick you or anything, but come on, those times are especially terrible in our current day and age. On the other hand, the newer PC version has an admirable 19 hours of gameplay and a ridiculous 42 hours of Bluetooth time. That is absolutely insane, and you can be sure that I thought they were lying, but after testing it, they were 100% correct. I ended up with just about 41 hours on Bluetooth. To give up that much battery life just for the sake of wirelessly connecting to the Xbox would be quite the oversight, in my opinion. We're almost getting to the good parts of this review soon, but first we need to talk about this app, because I think it's one of the biggest wins for buying these headphones. For other headphones from the same company, the B&O app is actually quite great. They provide easy access to different settings, but here the app becomes truly amazing. Let's go through the app. First off, setting up the headphones is just as easy as any other pair of B&O headphones. You turn them on and the app will automatically pick them up. It's great. It's absolutely fantastic. No problems here. Once you're paired, you'll get the battery status and an incredibly inaccurate battery estimate. For some reason, they always will assume that you got about 13 hours left, and then it'll randomly switch to the correct estimate, but I don't know when though. This took a very long time for me, so don't be too alarmed by the weirdness in this part of the software. And sometimes resetting the headphones help? I have no idea. If you have the Xbox version of the headphones, there will be two different listening modes listed for you, the Bluetooth mode and the Xbox mode. For the newer model, this will not be the case. The switch will happen automatically, and they will automatically change your app data based on what you're connected to at any given time. There are some nice volume controls and some useful music controls, nothing out of the ordinary. In this case, they could be useful if you're connected to dual sources, which is really neat. Where the app really shines is in its ability to create presets for the sound signatures. Some people might prefer some more bass and others might prefer a little bit less of it. More importantly, there are different scenarios in which you might prefer different things. The app lets you do this very, very easily. There are different presets depending on whether or not you're in gaming mode or regular mode. What's interesting is the way the customization works. See, while you're on regular mode, you get Beosonic, which is really great, and it's a nice easy wheel that lets you just mess around with a sound signature in a controlled way that's much easier for the average consumer. Not everyone is a fan of this, but unfortunately this is all you get. While in gaming mode, however, you get an actual EQ, and I mean a proper EQ. They come with some nice presets, though I suggest making an EQ specifically for music, unless you want some weird sounding music when you're using it for PC. For the most part, this is an awesome feature that will really help you choose the right signature for the type of game that you are playing at any given time. After the EQ settings, you get some ANC controls, which is nice to have, but thanks to the incredibly intuitive controls on the ear cups themselves, you'll likely never really use it in the app. Where this could be useful is in the Xbox version, where the slider on the left can be configured to change the chat mix as well. Personally, I've never had to deal with the chat mix, so I would have left it on noise cancelling anyway. Alright, we're on the fun stuff now. Let's talk about what it's like to actually game on them, because frankly, it's quite amazing. If you use the headphones as is, they'll sound great and they'll absolutely be awesome. But where they really shine is in the Dolby Atmos license that you get for free. Using Dolby Atmos with other headphones is good, but using them with something proper like this, where the sound stage is so large, is incredible. You can precisely tell where footsteps are coming from, and the sound is just so crazy immersive. The Xbox version will connect via the Xbox wireless adapter, or straight to the Xbox if you have one. The PC version comes with its own little adapter and has a little USB-C to USB-A adapter if you need it, which is really handy. You can also switch between the devices by just tapping the power button once to activate the PC connection and the Bluetooth button on the left ear to quickly turn on and off the Bluetooth radio. This is a little bit different on the Xbox version. The PC version is now able to stream 2 audio sources at the same time, but I actually highly recommend leaving the Bluetooth off when using these if you can, because it does reduce the audio quality of the streams significantly. One thing I did find rather annoying was that the headphones are unable to do dual audio when connected via the cable, which is something you will have to deal with, unfortunately. On the flip side of this, PlayStation owners will lose out on Dolby Atmos, but with the included USB adapter, you'll be able to connect more easily, and you'll also have dual audio modes. For games such as Halo Infinite, which is a competitive shooter, this will give you the nice precision in the sounds that you need to play the game, though as it just so happens, I'm just as bad as I was before. But that's a personal problem. For games like Forza and Outer Worlds and even Star Citizen, the experience is just amazing. But do remember to switch between the modes on your headphones app. The connection with the PC dongle is indeed very low latency, and I highly recommend it for anyone who's into any sort of gaming at all. One of the more important aspects in gaming is the mic, because you need a way of communicating with your fellow teammates or friends without destroying their ears. These have what they call a virtual boom arm, which uses 8 different microphones to center in on your voice, and fancy name or not, this is pretty awesome tech that's been there for a while. Unfortunately, no amount of fancy naming will save you from the rather poor audio quality. It's fine, it sounds natural, but that's about it. Just fine. It won't sound like a $500 pair of gaming headphones, but as far as sounding natural, they've got it down pretty well. Compared to a studio mic, however, this is going to be quite the jarring experience. The one thing I will say is that the mic will work even when your headphones are plugged in via the audio cable. This is something you won't see in almost any other pair of headphones, so this was a really great touch that they put in. It's a nice feature that is very gaming focused, but also immensely useful for other people as well. These also allow you to use these headphones in headset mode, even when connected on the Xbox by simply connecting them up to the controller. Now look, I think these are fantastic for gaming, and I truly mean it. I think that there's really nothing like it out there. But when it comes to just playing music from Bluetooth, I feel like they're missing that oomph. At first, I had no way of explaining what it was that felt off, and it just didn't feel like their $500 worth of audio. I say this with no offense in mind, it just seemed like they were too close to things like my Sony XM3s that I've been using for a few years. Honestly, I had expected the music experience to be a bit better. After some research, what I realized was that it's just terrible at treble. If you boost the Biosonic wheel to more energetic end, these things sound a lot better. I just don't want you to think that you're getting the sound of other $500 pair of headphones. However, I was extremely surprised to find that the latest update that Bang & Olufsen pushed out to the headphones actually changed the audio tuning to be just a little better. In fact, it changed enough for me to make these directly comparable to the H10s, which are $500 music-focused headphones. Now, while the H10s are very well balanced, it's not the greatest at giving some nice rumbly bass. This makes more sense for audiophile-focused pair of headphones. On the other hand, the Portals are extremely precise on the bass region, and it just falls short on the vocals though. It's easy to say that these headphones are bad, but in reality, they're just tuned with a different type of people in mind. The lesser treble that it comes with also means that you end up getting more control over the tone itself in gaming mode. For music, I just boosted the treble up and added the tiniest hints of extra bass. I found that this helps bring out the vocals and gives more of a crispness to it. You can especially feel the difference with plucked string instruments such as a guitar or a harp. You really just feel that plucking, which you simply cannot do on the H10s. For games with more environmental designs, it's much easier to adjust the headphones without having to put down any of the sound areas. It's just intuitive to control with the tuning that it gets. Another little warning here. This does not appear to be the case for the Xbox version, which you can see in the Arting's review has extremely poor bass response on the lower end of the spectrum, which is what leads to more rumbly types of bass. I tested these newer headphones, and obviously I don't have those fancy tech for measuring these frequencies, but they managed to do some very difficult pieces of music, especially things by Hans Zimmer, which tends to get really rumbly bass out of them. And sure enough, they provided a crispness in the bass that the H10s simply could not deliver on. I guess the best way to think about it is that these are dual purpose. $250 gaming headphones and $250 headphones. When you think about it that way, you saved yourself from purchasing two inferior products, and you got some amazing gaming headphones, but it's probably something closer to $350 or $400 in terms of purely music quality. But in terms of gaming, I would say these are comparable to headsets in the $300 and $400 market. This is in line with other reviews that compared other headphones. This isn't me saying that this is a bad deal, not by any means. It's just saying that if you don't care about the absolute finest in music quality and you're more interested in a nice gaming experience with a fantastic music experience, then this is the product for you, by far. If you want something more music focused, then the H10s might be for you. However, if these were sold for $400, I would say that these would be by far the best headphones that you can buy if you're a gamer or not a gamer. What's more is that unlike a lot of other headphones, you can actually use the USB-C connection to listen to music as well. I'm very happy to see what they did with the product overall. It feels like the perfect audiophile type gaming headphones. I think it's also important to mention the comfort on these headphones. This is especially the case for things like gaming headsets because people can wear them for extremely variable times, and it needs to be comfortable throughout no matter how long you wear them. I mentioned a little bit about the comfort earlier, but I'll restate a little. The ear cups are extremely roomy, which means that no part of your ears will generally touch the headphones, even with my massive elephant ears, which seem to hurt with every pair of headphones. I explained this in my H10s videos, but there's really nothing I could do to fix it in that video. These headphones, on the other hand, are light, but I don't think you can completely forget about it because of the clamping force. When you do adjust it just right, it just won't be a problem. It will be noticeable, but it's just perfect on your head. I think that the improved bass response really comes from the extra seal that the clamping force has. Unlike the H10s, which I just couldn't wear for longer than an hour, and I would feel discomfort after just about 30 minutes, these headphones are fantastic. I was able to wear them for nearly 4 hours with just a tiny break in between. I can easily wear them for 2 hours straight without any discomfort, though it's nice to take a quick break after that, since after a while they do get a tiny bit warm. This is more so due to the warmer weather right now than the headphones being bad themselves. Obviously, it goes without saying that these are not workout headphones in the slightest. However, I did take them out for a quick 30-minute walk, and they performed remarkably well given how much more bulky they are than the H10s. The large ear cups were a little warm, but they weren't anything terrible. Nothing worse than the H10s for sure. I found that the larger ear cups were also extremely accommodating of my sunglasses. I wore them for half of the walk to see if they made any difference to the sound, and I was surprised to see that they managed to create a very good seal regardless of the glasses being there. This is great news for people who wear glasses, since it's not uncommon for the headphones to be very uncomfortable with them on. The ANC wasn't anything special. They worked just fine, and they took away most of the city noises, but it wasn't exactly silent. What I did like, however, was that I could dial in just how much transparency I wanted at any given time, which is really nice. On quieter streets, I put the transparency up to high, but on the main road, I turned it down to somewhere around medium or low. I will restate again. These are not workout headphones in the slightest. They have no form of water protection, and they have leather ear cups, which will deteriorate when exposed to moisture such as sweat or rain. For walks like this, it's fine, but for something more vigorous, I would highly suggest avoiding these headphones. So let's recap real quick, because there was a lot of information here. I think the best way to summarize these headphones is by saying that these are an amazing pair of headphones that are geared for gamers who are looking for the ultimate audio experience in-game and out of the game. If you're looking for good quality headphones that can double as a gaming headset, these are the one for you. If you're looking for something that's focused on audio quality first, then this is not something for you, not in the slightest. There are some changes to the sound signature that are clearly created with the gamer in mind rather than the music listener. However, if you're like me and pretty much every pair of headphones seem uncomfortable to you, then these are probably the best that you can really get given the massive ear cups and the wide array of features. For the non-gamers with the same ear issues, AirPods Max would probably be the best bet. Though those were really uncomfortable in my head. I tried them out for a while. Clamping force was giving me crazy headaches, so keep that in mind if you're looking into that. I'm currently working on a video detailing the differences between this product and the H10s, which is the music listening variant. If you're interested, I highly suggest that you subscribe down below. I did go over some of the differences here, but I think it's good to put them in one place for people searching for this question, since it seems like no one really has a definitive answer. But until then, that's all I got for you. Drop your questions in the comments below and hit that like button on your way out. Thanks so much for watching.